Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in.
Hello, welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. Today we have a awesome interview with the wonderful Belinda Stark. She is a certified alcohol mindset coach for midlife women. She actually came into our Ending Body Burnout method a few weeks ago to take our clients through a coaching workshop on breaking free from food and alcohol cravings, addiction, emotional eating. It was awesome. Definitely went beyond just the strategies of don't eat this, stop doing that, eat this instead, and really got into the root of why we develop cravings, addictions, emotional drinking, eating in the first place. So it was awesome. For any clients that missed out coming to that workshop live, I'm actually going to pop in the show note links a direct link to that workshop that Belinda ran with us. So that's a great one to come back to if you feel like you have emotional eating or beverage cravings, addictions, that sort of stuff. So today on the podcast, we really dove into Belinda's story around why she does what she does. She's had a pretty big life. She ended up in hospital a couple of times with postnatal depression, diagnosed and recovered from breast cancer, went through a divorce, and all of this built up to the point where she just was drinking alcohol in excess, not a alcoholic, but definitely causing some health issues and affecting her relationships. So we're really diving into all of that today, what that looked like, the root cause of why someone uses things like alcohol or addictive type substances. It might even be things like social media, Netflix, watching too much TV, all that sort of stuff, just to numb out the problems that we're having deeper below the surface. And essentially we really dive into what it looks like to have self-love for self. So the official stuff about Belinda, her bio, I'm going to read that out. She is a certified alcohol mindset coach that helps midlife women break free from the exhausting cycle of overdrinking and rediscovers a vibrant, empowered life. After navigating her own chapters of cancer, depression, divorce, and addressing a 20-year grey area drinking issue, she brings a deep personal understanding to the work, supporting women who feel stuck in the overdrinking habit loop. With her compassionate and no-nonsense approach, she's here to help women stop numbing and start thriving, and she has been published in the media multiple times, including places like Mamma Mia, around the story of how she quit drinking and how she helps other people do the same. All right, let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome everybody to the Ending Body Burnout Show. Today we have a special guest with us. We have Belinda Stark. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast with us today, Belinda. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I was very touched when Philly reached out. So thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
I've been thinking about it for a long time.
And
then I'm like, let's do this.
Yay.
Okay, so for the listeners, they would have heard me read your beautiful bio, but essentially in a nutshell, you're a mindset alcohol coach for midlife women. Let's just dive straight there, maybe before you became that, and more around your personal journey that led to the point where it's like there's some things going on. that need to change?
Yes. Well, I like to call myself a bit of a mixed lolly bag because there's lots of different lollies in there. But I, in a nutshell, I've gone through a divorce. That was the early 2000s. I've had two boys. I've remarried, had my second son with my husband now, and had some very debilitating hospitalisation with postnatal depression. Um, and things got better, and I purchased a business, retail fashion, and built that up. And 2 weeks into owning that business, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And happy to say that's, yeah, 11 years ago, and I'm fighting fit. And then about 3 years ago now, I addressed a drinking issue. Uh, just what we call them is a middle lane drinker or a grey area drinker. I wasn't an alcoholic. But it was time to address it because I was a big drinker on and off probably since my divorce.
Yeah.
And that sort of, yeah,
What's a
sorry,
middle lane drinker?
middle lane drinker.
Yeah.
Well, you're not drinking in the morning and way too much, or and you're not like not don't drink at all. You overdrink and drink more than the standard health guidelines, and you sort of know that alcohol is sort of taking a little bit of control of you in that you prioritize alcohol over other more important things,
Yeah. Okay.
or you just start to notice little things. But that can take some time because it's very confronting and scary to, yeah, open up and get raw and honest. So I did. And I haven't had a drink for nearly 3 years now. And that was basically, Philly, the turning point in becoming an alcohol mindset coach. Didn't think I would, but I sort of fell into it in that I did some coaching with a sober coach, and I thought I really like this coaching thing, and I've had plenty of therapy in my lifetime, so we'll make use of that. And yeah, I was going to coach midlife women just in with their inner critic and their mindset and embracing the next phase of their life. But what happened was everyone was incredibly interested in the drinking. And I got published in Mamma Mia and Nine Honey and all sorts of things. And that was just the thing that just kept coming up. Tell me about your drinking. What did you do? And that's how I became an alcohol mindset coach for women.
Yeah. I was actually on your website when I was just putting together questions, and I'm like, you have been featured in a lot of media. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's been great.
What I'm kind of interested in is even before that, though.
Okay.
Like if we circled back to earlier on, because I don't know if you use this language, but the alcohol isn't the problem. It's just a symptom.
Yeah.
It's a symptom that's kind of band-aiding something else underneath the surface.
Mm.
So when you were talking about there was a mixed bag, it's kind of like you in hospital for postnatal depression. That's massive. And then the divorce, and then you got the cancer, even though you thought you were living your best life. Like, can you see how, was there a connection with all of those in terms of what led to like the postnatal depression, even the divorce and the thoughts, feelings that came up after that? And then alcohol was kind of just the band-aid that was trying to band-aid the pattern of everything that's going on. I'm kind of like
Yeah,
understanding or
it's
trying
an
to get
ongoing.
to like a deeper root cause that
Yeah,
if there's a
yeah,
thread that
sure.
is leading through all of that.
Yeah, yeah. I would say definitely. And like you said, the alcohol is sort of the crutch or the band-aid, but there's a lot more going underneath. With my depression, I was just in this dark, deep black hole and really couldn't function. Um, and alcohol sort of took that away. But the irony is it didn't really, because the next day you're more depressed and what have you. So I feel underneath, and the root cause was self-love, self-compassion, just liking myself, and really working on the inner critic and all those other ones. I have a family tree, and I've got critical Cassie and Patsy Perfect and overthinking
Awesome.
Olivia. I literally, I say it when I do talks, I bring up my family tree and we go through it. And I can tell you now, there's a lot of ladies just nodding their heads. So
Yeah.
yeah, they got the better of me. Uh, but particularly key is that self love and self care that I wasn't giving myself, or perhaps didn't feel like I deserved it. All those, and that takes a lot of work. It's a work in progress. You always get those little voices, but it's how you manage them. And you say, okay, Patsy, I know you're trying to look after me, but I've got this, and it's all self talk, isn't it? Mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So well, actually, and then the divorce happened.
Yeah,
Is that when you started drinking more? Because it sounds like
yeah,
you're already
definitely.
drinking, but then you
Yeah,
started noticing it was getting a
yeah.
bit too much.
Definitely, definitely. I was incredibly lonely. I was incredibly sad. My ex-husband was a high sort of profile sportsman, so it was sort of in my face a bit, which I really struggled with. Um, and I started drinking heavily. Prior to that, not a problem. I wasn't often, you hear of people being big drinkers as teenagers and what have you. I wasn't. I was just not interested. But yeah, when I was 30 and went through a divorce, that's when I started drinking and falling in holes.
Yeah. Yeah. And essentially, were you just using it for comfort, or like what were the
More
tactics, or numbing out?
loneliness.
Yeah.
Loneliness, numbing out, like I had my son, and when he was with his dad, it was really freaking hard and sad. And at that stage, it's funny now because the friends that I hung around with were all happily married and had their little kids, and I was sort of the solo one. I was the Bridget Jones. They used to joke and say, "Ah, you're that Bridget Jones that sings into the wine bottle."
Ouch.
Well, and I just gag along, but
Yeah.
yeah, underneath it was pretty sad. So I would definitely say loneliness and just sad and drink to escape your feelings. And I think I never really, and I think a lot of women, particularly women, never really learn how to cope with those feelings in a positive way. We're brought up as the good little girl, or if you're being too loud, stop carrying on, or don't cry, or and not expressing them in a positive way. So that's what I struggled with too, I think, as I reflect.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's the reason why we band-aid manage in a
Mm,
dysfunctional ways, because we don't even know what we're feeling. There's disconnect with our body, our emotions. Sometimes
mm,
people have past experiences where expressing emotion isn't even safe. You get into trouble, or
mm,
you get into like
mm,
physical harm or emotional harm.
mm.
So it can feel safer to drink, or
Yeah. Or
like
eat
comfort
or
eat.
smoke or
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's not
Or
just drinking. It's very similar with all those things.
zone out on Netflix for hours, whatever it
Exactly.
is, because it's just like numbing out.
For sure.
So you mentioned parts. I'm assuming you did some parts work. What other things, like what did it look like in order to heal, not just to like let go of and stop the drinking? Because it sounds like it
Mm.
wasn't just a decision of like, I'm just not going to drink and that's it. There was a bunch of other stuff that needed to
Yeah.
be unraveled, rewired in order to be able to heal from that. What did it look
Yeah.
like for you?
Yeah. Um, Sick and tired of waking up sick and tired, just the physical symptoms. Um, what did it look like for me? Do you
Actually,
mean?
before we
Yeah.
go to that, like what was the moment where you thought there was a problem or that you wanted to stop? Like was it waking up sick and tired?
Yes, and it was waking up Christmas of 2022, over that Christmas period, waking up and having some shakes, which scared the hell out of me, but also having some disorientation. And I thought, what's going on here, Belinda? And Googled, of course, Dr. Google, Christmas time, went down that little rabbit hole, and all of a sudden I was getting brain cancer and dying tomorrow and what have you. So my hubby and I went to the GP and had a really honest chat. He was lovely. He's been through all my ups and downs, and he first commended me on making it verbal, putting it out there, because he's had a lot of people don't admit that. So, it was very brave, and I respect anyone that puts it out there or talks about it. But then I also remember him saying, in the nicest possible way, but Belinda, you've got to remember the buck stops with you. And that really stuck. And then my older boy, who was from my first marriage, he was 27 at the time, and he was really he still is settled down with a lovely girl. And the turning point there was, this is sort of marriage and children sort of time. But if they actually have a child, I wonder if they'd let me look after my grandchild. And that was a real, pooh, it's time, Belinda. It's time to address this.
Yeah.
So they were the major turning points.
Yeah. Yeah. And it often is. Just as you were talking, I'm reflecting back to the pivotal moment where it's like, I need to do something. From like, my issue was chronic illness, really. Like, there's a lot of weird health issues. And that was painful, and there was a lot of struggle and a lot of discomfort and frustration. But I think the big thing, like the pivoting point, was the day that I screamed at my kids, and they at the time were a newborn baby and like a toddler. And by the way, it wasn't the first time I screamed at them, but it was the pivotal time that it's just like, I need to do this for me, but far out, like, these little people are in my care.
Yeah.
And I'm helping them to grow and thrive. Currently, I'm not doing that. So
it's like a light bulb moment, isn't it?
Yeah. And
it doesn't have to be a rock bottom.
Yeah.
It's whoa.
Yeah. And it's usually less around the symptom. Like, I'm just done with this symptom, whether it's like drinking or a physical health issue or emotional eating. It's how it's impacting your life and those around you that you love.
Yeah. And you can't just snap out of it. I was doing things like prioritizing alcohol. An example is school sports, like a sport after school, and dropping the boys off to footy. But I never wanted to pick them up at 6 or 6:30 because 5:30 was my drinking time. So I would either get my husband to pick them up, or I would get friends to do it. I'd offer to do the drop off to the sport, but they picked them up and that was probably a thing too. I've got to stop doing this, and feeling so guilty about it, but still drinking.
Yeah.
That was another thing. But yeah, you don't have to hit a rock bottom. You just have to have these moments. And look, you can put them under the carpet. You can keep putting them in denial, can't you? But you'll just get sicker.
Yeah. At some point, something will scream, whether it's
Something
your body
happens.
or your marriage or your parenting or your business. Something will scream.
Yeah.
So then going back to like what it looks like to heal. And by that, like you mentioned parts work, I'm just curious around like the steps that you took and modalities that you might have lent into, that sort of thing, especially for those who might be having a problem, who it's like, oh, this is what the journey would look like.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't stop cold turkey. And a lot of the programs out there at the time were you had to, and that was very confronting and just too scary and overwhelming. So I slowly sort of petered it down over, say, 12 days, just slowly cutting back. And one of the traits for many people that overdrink is they're a bit of an all or nothing, like a team extreme sort of thing. And that's me. And it can be really helpful, but it can really be very detrimental. So instead of throwing myself...
Can I just add? I
I
actually feel like that's a common pattern for anyone with an addiction, like regardless of what it is. It's like I'm all in or I'm nothing.
And so what I did, rather than all in and have a bottle or more of wine a night, I just threw myself into podcasts about sober curiosity and books. There's a lot of books out there. They call it Quit Lit. And I found some amazing books and just distraction. This is in the early days, distraction, throw myself into them. And what helped so much by doing that is that I resonated with them, and it made me realize I'm not the only one. because it's quite isolating, or you think there's something wrong with you, and all those, horrible things we can say to ourselves. There's the family tree again.
Yeah.
But there's one in particular, and I had her on my podcast. I was so touched, Claire Pooley, and it's called The Sober Diaries. And she has breast cancer. She is so witty, fun, and she's like, it was school drop off, and it was that night, and I just so similar, everything she writes about, and I'm just going, oh my God, this is me to a T. And that was really helpful. So throwing myself into that, petering out, and in the early days, some distractions. And it was, and a bonus for me, some people it triggers, alcohol-free options. Fantastic. Really helpful.
It was good.
Yeah.
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 I've never had an alcohol problem, but I definitely had a sugar addiction problem, and that swap out far out when I'm like, I don't have to ditch sugar completely. I can actually just have healthier natural alternatives. And it was hard at first because it's trial and error. You need to find something where it's just like, this is really nice. This gives me the thing. But once I found certain brands or certain recipes, I'm like, this is great. I don't have to deprive myself, and and my body is thriving.
Well, can I ask you a question? What, Belinda, what are some alcohol-free options?
Yeah, that'd be good actually for people who might not have come across a good option, because I know that there are a lot of not so good tasty, or got a lot of extra added fillers and that sort of stuff in it.
Well, even since I stopped drinking, the industry has grown so much. Who is it? I think who make Grange? I don't even know now, but I think it's Penfolds. They're spending 15 million in Adelaide on creating a alcohol or low alcohol red and white wine, which is great because a lot of the white wines aren't great still. And that also tells us, by the way, that people want this. They want zero or low alcohol, which is awesome. For me, I love the gin and tonics. Naked Life is a great one. There's a local family here. Her husband had he was an alcoholic. They were both in the wine industry, and they created a business called Etch Sparkling, and it's a alcohol alternative. It's a beautiful story, and I love that one, and because they're local and it's small business. Geese and Sauv Blanc, not amazing, but if that's what's going to get you through, do it. I'm not a beer drinker, but people swear by the beers. They just taste like alcohol. And I find the more expensive ones are better. And the reason that good ones are expensive, similar to alcohol, is it's the process. So extracting the alcohol, it is quite costly, but hey, you can drink it and then wake up and have a beautiful day the next day and a good sleep and feel fresh. So it's worth it.
Yeah. A common theme, just as you were talking about that I've noticed with some clients, especially if they haven't yet, I don't know, reduced or stopped drinking alcohol, especially if it's kind of like your detox pathways really need support, or your adrenals are tanked. And so from a health protocol point of view, it's like you would do better abstaining for a while, or at least reducing to maybe one glass a week. Something like a common objection would be, what will I hold at a social event?
Yeah.
It's almost like I've found that, there's this common theme where it's less around not drinking the alcohol, but more around the acceptance in a social group. So having those alcohol-free versions, usually I'll just say, just get a kombucha. It kind of looks the same as well. If you're worried about people asking you questions, put it in a what are those little stubby holder things?
Oh yeah.
I'm obviously not an alcohol person, but where it's you can even just put it in that and they won't even know what you're drinking. It's like, who cares? And so have you noticed that too from a social perspective that
it's a shame we have to do that though, Philly, isn't it? Why do we have to do that? And there's a prime example of how alcohol is encroached in our society in every way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched a amazing YouTube. I bring this up with my clients all the time. I watched an amazing YouTube ad. It was a guy in America. I was logged out of YouTube Premium, and so I got all the ads. And for this particular time, it was an alcohol coach, and he said his wife and him had a baby, and then the baby passed away with SIDS, and it was a real challenging time for him and his wife, and then they had relationship troubles. His wife and him got a divorce. He drank and drank and drank because he didn't want to remember, and so after years went by, and he realized, man, I've really got an alcohol problem. Let me kick this alcohol problem. Let me stop this alcohol problem. And then he tried, didn't get anywhere. Tried, didn't get anywhere. Got somewhere, but then kind of went backwards. And he was just like, what am I going to do about this alcohol problem? And then he realized, well, alcohol actually isn't my problem. Alcohol is my solution. And that's when he started making all the difference. He started getting to this root of the reason why he was drinking in the first place. And I wrote down some of the things you said at the start. It was like self-talk, mindset, self-care, self-love, self-compassion, this inner critic, not deserving it, lonely. And then when we're talking about the stubbies holders and the
what are they going to
cultural,
think of me? Judgment.
yeah, it's like, like, why is this even necessary right now? It's not. Alcohol's fine until it's not, and it might not be the problem. So what is the problem? Did you get to a point where you just kind of made, like the YouTube ad, you had a little light bulb moment like that? How did you get into the coaching side of things?
Well, because of the media, but also because of the transformation I went through in every part of my life. The relationship with myself improved so much. The relationship with my family, my husband, my kids, productivity, having freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you like. Like, not that I'm a big go out everywhere, but just knowing you've got that, having clarity and clear-headedness, no more anxiety, or not much more. Hot flushes disappeared. Like, honestly, and I do it with my ladies. I get them to do a T-bar and what I get from drinking on one side and what I get from not drinking. And when they really think about it, honestly, what do you get from drinking? At the most, 20 minutes of fun or bit of socializing, which you can do without drinking. And the other side just grows and grows and grows. So yeah, for me, it got to a point where I want other women to experience this and feel it and love themselves again. And it truly does work. You watch them blossom.
That's amazing, because it's not, in the end, when you do that, when you get the women and your clients or anybody to love themselves, to have a relationship with themselves, the things that the fillers like alcohol or chocolate or food or drugs or whatever, anything that gets that the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It stops being necessary. Yeah, that escape. You don't need to escape because you can stand. You can stand in the force of the adversity or the experience of life, and it's just not a big deal for you anymore. You don't need something to solve the problem because the problem doesn't exist anymore. You love yourself. You got a great relationship with yourself. Hey.
Yeah, it's the key to everything. It really is. I mean, even in business, they say it's 80% mindset, 20% strategy. It's if you can be kind to yourself and have compassion, and it's an ongoing process and work in progress. But honestly, it really changes you, changes your outlook.
Bang.
It's beautiful.
It's awesome.
That's so cool. And so you made a pretty big career pivot as well. So
Yeah.
you had this retail shop that I'm guessing was like thriving. What did that look like to then go on being like, okay, I'm gonna like completely change in my midlife and do this thing instead.
It was just gradual. So I took a back step in 2023 to focus on me and my drinking goals and what I was doing. And because it was changing me so much, I thought, I'll study coaching, and I had great staff. So yeah, I just took a back step, but I was still in the business. We've also got online, and I produced my own clothing. Um, but as I got doing the coaching training, I thought I really like this. And I think when you stop drinking, although I loved my business for the first 8, 9 years, and during COVID we did incredibly well, um, I'd lost that passion. And with the drinking, because I'd stopped drinking, I was getting more aligned with my true self and my true values. And although I still love fashion and color, and I loved dressing the ladies. And look, it is like therapy, it is like coaching. We weren't like a cookie cutter, high sale. I want them to genuinely feel good and yeah,
Yep.
just help them. And it was I've had weddings there. I've had some sadness with people losing people. We were I was sort of like coaching them in a way. So this is like a deeper level, I suppose. But and I'll be honest, retail has really, really, really suffered. You can only see that when you look at all the big guys that unfortunately are going under or going to purely online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rents are huge.
Yeah.
Cost of living, all those things we hear about constantly. And I suppose too, reduce, reuse, recycle, like vintage clothing. I know my sons love the op shop, that sort of thing. So it was also a financial choice too.
Yeah.
That I was losing money near the end, and I could continue. I still had a year on the lease, but it was actually more prudent to shut the doors, pay the rent, and try and get it released, which I have after 6 months of a lot of stress, and just go all in with this business, and have a bit of a rest. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
deserve it.
My son finished school. My younger one, Max, finished school last year. And yeah, I'm finding my way to have some
Nice.
balance. Yeah,
Love it.
but I do
So
love
cool.
coaching.
When did you say you made that coaching pivot? Did you say 2020?
2023, I started
23.
the studying, and then the business has been going a year now, all in.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
business has been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
So cool. So, a couple of questions to finish off. If someone has been listening to this and they are consuming alcohol,
Mm.
how does one know if it's a problem? Especially, did you call it the grey area or the
Yeah,
middle?
grey area.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, grey area drinking, I suppose people know more that saying than the middle lane. It's if you're questioning it, if you think you might, if you are prioritizing it, if you're waking up a bit foggy, if you know something's a bit off, yeah, there might be that little inkling. And I know it's incredibly scary to face, but I'm not blowing my trumpet. There's so much support out there, depending on where you want to go, and just take really gentle steps.
Yeah.
And everyone's journey is different. Like I wasn't going to give it up forever. I was giving it up for 6 months. But then I got to the point where after 6 months, the benefits of not drinking were so incredible that they far outweighed that, 20 minutes of a drink and another one and numbing. So I'd say that, and I'd say after we drink, the next day we beat ourselves up. We say, you're an idiot, you're this, you're that. There's that family tree again, Cassie. But that hasn't worked because for years and years and years we've been doing it. So rather than self-beration change, which doesn't work, do some self-compassionate change and just slowly. And if you fall off the wagon, whatever they say, all those sayings, it's not that all or nothing, and that allows you to binge. It's like with eating, like with everything else. You've had a blimp, look back and reflect, get curious why, and let's just start again tomorrow and not beat ourselves up. common thread.
I love that. I love that self-beration to what do you say? Self-compassion. Oh,
Self-compassionate
yeah.
change.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It really is. The more I do this, I just see healing from anything: addiction, compulsion, hurt, pain, trauma,
Symptom.
burnout. Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
It's more about relationship rather than ticking a box here and there. It's
Yes.
having um, a better relationship with yourself.
So,
Yeah.
Something else I liked what you said was when you first made the decision, it's like it was, you said, oh, this might not be, or it's not a forever thing, it's 6 months, which I think is really helpful for people too. So, regardless of whether we're talking about alcohol or some sort of change, nervous system brain hates change. It's like, no,
yes.
let's stay in the familiar. And so,
Ah.
if you have this goal that just feels so far away or so long or torturous, it's less likely that you're going to make a
Yeah.
change.
It's too overwhelming.
Yeah. So if it's like
Yeah.
1 month, oh, cool, I
Yeah.
got to 1 month. Actually, this is
Yeah.
good. Okay, maybe I'm 6 months. And then, you might get to a point where it's 80-20. And I'm talking not just about alcohol, it might be
Yeah.
food, it might be consuming social media, like whatever it is. Or it might be like, I don't actually need this in my life
Yeah.
anymore. And it feels really safe to then make that decision because you've already created enough evidence that this feels better on this side as opposed
Yeah.
to the old other side.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely spot on. And like I did, I just petered it out. And you can do that. You don't have to. If some of my ladies, they don't want to give up and they'll want to not drink during the week and drink lightly on the weekends, and they achieve that. Some ladies don't. Or some ladies do it and then some weekends they think, well, don't really want to drink because I like what I do when I don't drink.
Yeah.
So it's everyone's journey is different. There's no hard and fast rules. And like you said, it's just slowly, step by step, your journey, plenty of time. Even just cutting back is a step in the right direction for your mind and your body and your total health.
Yeah. Yeah. And lastly, this is like slightly off topic, but menopause. What does that look like for you? Because I know a lot of our listeners are women, midlife, kind of like either like leading up to or in the perimenopause phase. There was just something like on your website you said, navigated menopause with joy and positivity, which I think we need more stories about this.
Well, I think I navigated it much better when I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really do.
You said
It's
the hot
all of
flushes
that.
disappeared.
Yeah, they 100%. And the moods and the anxiety, everything, the puffiness. But I was also with menopause, I was probably because my breast cancer was estrogen based, and I had to strip my body of estrogen and take like estrogen blockers. Tamoxifen was what I was on. You're sort of thrown into a bit of a early onset fast menopause. But honestly, when I stopped, it all just keeps coming back to the alcohol. I just, yeah, it gave me a new lease on life, and I'm 56 now. Um, and yeah, I'm ready for the next stage. So, and I think too, Philly, with I'm quite good friends with Shelley Horton. She's just finished a book, My Peri Godmother, and she's so passionate about it. It's talked about more, and there's so many options now. It's like, look, do you know what? It's like the alcohol-free thing. It's talked about more. There's other options now. Menopause is so much talked about more. Don't sit there on your own and yeah, be unhappy. It's normal, and there's so many options. So just start getting curious and trying what works for you, because you know we're here for a good time, a
Yeah.
happy time.
A joyful time.
Love
Yes.
it.
So good. So, how can listeners, if they want to reach out to you, learn a bit more about you, you do have a free download, the top 20 tips to cut back, cut out, or take a break from drinking. Can you talk us through that, how people can connect with you? We'll make sure it's all in
Yeah.
the show notes.
Yeah, lovely. My website, belindastark.com. There's other free resources there. I've got a podcast, which you're coming on in a few weeks.
Yay.
And my Instagram, I always post up, it's Belinda Stark _. I post tips or little snippets of my story. And I'm in the middle of writing my book, so I hope that's out in January. Yeah, you can find me. I'm out there.
Awesome. So good. Well, thank you so much. It's been an
Thank you.
awesome conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Belinda. All right, guys, have the best week ever, and we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.